Hi guys. Um, Trying to work this out here. There we go. Right, and I'll give you three guesses where I am, and the first two don't count. I'm at the Black Bear Wilderness area. It's Sunday. I believe it's August 10th, 2025, and yeah, I'm just walking along. I've already collected the footage on my trail cameras, and I just thought I would, take you guys with me for a little bit. You can see around me. Hang on, I'll do a Dorothy Hamill twirl for you as soon as I get into a place here. Here we go. That's the trail where I'm heading down now. Wow, I hear a frog. Did you guys hear that? Pretty cool. It's well, it's a bit soggy out here today. I was conversing with some hikers as I was coming into the park as they were leaving, and I asked them if the trail was wet. And the word they used to describe it was, fortunately, on the high side of the trail. Um, what I'm doing is collect my footage and going home. I'm needed at home. So as far as, you know, spending my time out here, it's just not an option at the moment. And I'm always looking for interesting stuff. Pygmy rattlesnakes, those mushrooms that instead of look like umbrellas, they look like the umbrellas turned upside down and they're full of water. See a lot of those. And I imagine that's what fuels the fungus is when they're full of water, kind of goes down into the roots. Nothing here. You can see what I'm looking at is this. Well, I guess you can't see it. Okay. Well, there's a tree stump here. It's a little higher than the rest of the ground, and that's a lot of times the pygmy rattlesnakes will seek higher ground, especially when it's wet or when it's chilly, so they can catch the sun. There's a tree here. I'm gonna knock some of this mud off my boots. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tree. Or Mrs. Tree. I don't know. Thank you, Tree. Just trying to be politically correct. Yeah, I haven't seen a pygmy rattlesnake out here in a little bit. But then again, I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of looking, but I don't have a. I'm going too fast for one thing, which you wouldn't think a guy my age would be going too fast, but for anything. But yeah, but for that, yep. So I'm a lot of lizards around here. There's a bunch of debris here. I just walked past. Came off oh, this tree that's down behind me. And you can see it right there. That tree, it kind of fell down and it broke all into pieces here. And there's a bunch of tree debris on the trail. I don't think I've ever said tree debris before. Huh, pretty cool. All right. This is me. Welcome to everyone who's not here. I don't see anybody on my but that's cool. That's cool because well, I may be live now, but 100 years or so, I won't be. And this who knows, this trail may have been developed for more housing or something. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. They're having a black bear hunt here because the bears and the humans are starting to intermingle, well, run into each other, the bears in the neighborhoods. Well, when you put the neighborhoods in the bears neighborhood, that's what happens. There's a place where the pigs have torn it up. Wow, and that's fresh too. Hmm. You know, the pigs I see out on the trail, I don't ever actually lay eyes on any over here, but closer to the halfway point. You know, you got to get like 3 miles in. I'm only like a mile and a half in. Oh yeah, I'm looking at myself now. Last time I was out here and I did some videos out here, and I did it like this. I'm gonna change this angle a bit. There we go. I did them like this, and I didn't want to lose my microphone, so I left it on my hat. And after here, I went to the store, and I got to the checkout, and the lady says, "What's that fuzzy thing on your hat?" Hmm, sorry. And I said, "Oh, it's my microphone." She says, "For what?" And I told her what I do. I may have given her a card. I don't know. But you know, I was thinking about this. If Roger Waters or any of the surviving members of Pink Floyd see my shirt and see my video, this is well, pretty much customary attire for me while I'm on the trail. You know, even though it's Sunday, the parking lot wasn't overly crowded, and I found the spot easy. Although I would say the parking lot was probably halfway full, maybe a little less. But you know, in 7 miles, you're not really gonna run into a lot of people here. Well, if you go all the way around, you'll probably see all of them. You know, statistically speaking, but since I don't see all of them. So what do you think? You guys want to you want me to flip it around so you guys can see where I'm going rather than where I've been? And looking at me. Ugh. Okay. Here we go. Boom. That's where I'm headed. It looks a little darker. And you know, when you get into the dark areas like this, it really is. I mean, it's noticeably cooler. And no, I don't have one of those gimbal things to smooth out my steps. So you'll just have to bounce along with me as I'm as I'm walking. Yeah. Not really much else happening. I mean, you know, things are cool to look at, like these palm fronds. Look at the size of this thing, man. You guys can't really see it, but this thing's probably, I'd say, if those top leaves there were stretched out, it would be 5 feet across. Easy. And this guy here, same thing. Yeah, these palm fronds, they're big. For those of you who don't see wild palm fronds, you know, just left to do whatever they want to do, which I'm not sure what palm fronds do when nobody's looking. I guess they just keep growing. And this palm frond, see him bent all the way down. He must be tired. I bet he was up all night. He's just got to, you know, take a rest. But the rest of them look pretty healthy. Look at that tree sticking up over there. That's cool. You know, when you're walking, you're always looking down at the roots or straight ahead to see what's on the trail. Rarely do you look up. And if you do, you may see some stuff. I remember, yeah, that's part of this tree here. Sorry, I put you right in the sun. But if you look up every now and then, you'll see the birds. And I'm not just talking about like cardinals and finches and starlings, not starlings. Yeah, starlings, but the little tiny ones. Sometimes you'll see an owl swoop in and land and just look at you. I mean, they're so curious. They'll watch you. They might even follow you, but you'll never hear them. So if you don't happen to look up and see them, look at his palm frond. This thing's cool, man. This dude is huge. Now you see this yellow part right here in the middle where the sun's shining through? That part right there is longer than my phone. So you can imagine how big the whole thing is. Oh, and I thought it was just yellow because the sun was shining through it. It's actually yellow. Yeah, I guess that part doesn't see a lot of sun. Oh man, you guys can't feel this breeze coming through here? Oh, this is great. But yeah, back to the owls. I like owls. Oh, I've always liked owls because there's nobody else that really, if we suddenly lost all of our owls, there's a niche there that nobody would fill. This is why the rodents are active at night mostly, because the birds of prey are asleep, except for the owls. And trust me when I tell you, they eat their weight in food every day. If it's not for them, it's for their chicks, which incidentally, owl chicks are, they're not handsome. Let's put it that way. I find them funny looking at best. There's a game trail. It doesn't really show up on the camera. Yeah, it's a little bit. Another one back through there. I've had cameras over on this side, a little bit further down. I think all I got was a deer. There's a stream off to my right, and it's actually running pretty good. I don't know if you can see the water moving, but yeah, it's going. It's flowing nice. Sometimes it's just a lazy river, but today, not so much. When it thins out like that, you really see the water moving. I haven't really heard a lot of squirrels this morning. I think it's because it's so damp and cloudy and they don't want to get caught in the rain. I imagine squirrel fur is pretty hard to dry clean, costs a lot, so they don't want to get it wet. Now here's a place I often see an alligator on that far bank. However, I don't see him today. And there's a lot of weeds right up front in the front here, but there's a little pool here. And I'm sure it's a lot deeper than it shows. It might even be a spring. So if you jump in there, there's no bottom to touch. There's the service road to Yankee Lake Water Management District. There's the other side of it that goes off to the other side of the park, which is always covered in water. And this, all of this foliage here, it houses so many different insects. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't even believe it. You see them gently swaying in the breeze. I was coming through here earlier on my way to some of my cameras, and I saw this beetle. It was black and gold. I thought it was pretty cool. Here, let me. I took some pictures. I'm not sure how they'll look, but here's what I saw. Oh, look at this butterfly, dude. Yep, there's a big old something buzzing around me. Yep, here comes a jogger. Don't want to show him. I'm pretty sure he don't want to be on screen. So I'll just point you at the woods for a minute. Good morning. Not too bad. How you doing? Well, he's obviously doing all right. He looked to be about my age. He's running. Only time you'll ever see me run is if something really big is chasing me. Or something I don't think a 45 will stop. Then I might run. Otherwise, I'm too old for that nonsense. You know, this kind of reminds me of Hike with Mike. If you guys have never seen Hike with Mike, his channel, it's pretty much the same thing as this. He's in Florida here somewhere, Central Florida, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But he does the same thing. So if you guys want a different perspective and possibly a different guy to listen to, check out Hike with Mike. I'll put his tag up in the corner there. You know, once I get home and get to edit this. Oh no, I won't be able to edit it. Dang it! I keep forgetting. I think that this is just a regular one that I can take home and edit. So yeah, that golden black beetle. Sorry, I couldn't put it up. I have pictures, but they're in my phone. So yeah, sorry about that. I think some of these plants are just really interesting looking. The shapes of the leaves. I mean, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 points on it. Just think these things are just interesting. And look at the little tiny baby leaves. Look at those, they're so cute. There's that water again off to my right. You know, when it's rainy like it has been, there's more water. Which is good for me because then the animals, you know, they tend to stick to drier land. And it's easier to find them if you know where the land bridges are. Which I know a couple of them. Not all of them, that's for sure. Excuse me. And you can, well, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see the barbed wire fence here. The trail that I'm on is part of the Black Bear Wilderness area. However, the other side of that barbed wire fence belongs to Yankee Lake Water Management. I'm not sure exactly how far down that goes, but then it turns into a state park or state forest or something, and one of the rivers. And if you head west and a little bit north, you'll run into Hantoon Island up there on the other side of the land. There's a lot of land up there. I mean, if somebody wanted to, they could go in there and not be found if they didn't want to be found. Plenty of food. There's really no Walmarts, but you know, I mean, you could live out there for a year or so, I think, or more. All you need is some basic hand tools. Maybe an electric chainsaw. Yeah, which in my mind could be considered a basic hand tool. There's a tree that had fallen a while back, maybe a year ago, and I showed it. And the outside of the tree, not where the bark is, but just inside the bark where it's brown there, it was green. Yep, there's a lizard. Yep, yeah, they're running around trying to stay dry, trying to get in the sun, and I'm spooking them out and back into the shade. Ah, look at this vine or this vineage. Man, that dude goes up. And I know in some tropical places, these are known as strangler vines. They wrap themselves around the tree so completely. I mean, after years and years and years, they get so completely around the tree that they strangle the tree. They stop the sunlight, they stop the flow of nutrients, and it kills the tree. And after decades, the tree will decompose, and the vine will still be there, still be alive, and it'll look like a gnarled tree that's completely hollow inside because the tree is already gone, but the vine is still all the way around it. So it's like I don't know, a vine cast of the tree. Pretty interesting, and that's what you call your long-term nature. There's a there's a little millipede on the trail, and I keep thinking I'm hearing somebody behind me, but that's I'm wearing a backpack, and I've got my rain gear dangling off of it. It's more different color, different shaped leaves, and here's some more of those other ones. Get the ones in the sun so you can see them. That one's pretty cool. Different trees and such. And here is this little hole dug by a squirrel. Now, if I put my fingers together and make the and symbol in the American Sign Language, I could probably fit them in there. That's about the size of that hole. And here comes another hiker with her doggie. And I'm not going to show her because I don't know her. Ah, good morning. Hi. Hi, dog. Yeah, some people they have the headphones in and they don't hear you or they pretend not to hear you, which is fine because I come out here to get away from people too. That's a good chunk of the reason why I come out here. It's more different kinds of plants, probably weeds, but still plants to me. I'm not a plant person. Well, I am just about as much as I am a bird person. I know for sure these are plants. However, that's about as far as I can go. It's little fuzzy leaves there. Not sure how close I can get before it comes out of focus. But this is the easy walking part of the trail. This is I guess my phone's overheating. All right, I gotta go. Talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys later. Hi guys. Well, I'm back. Yeah, my phone overheated and turned itself off. But I mean, my phone it's like 90 degrees out here. maybe a little less under the canopy. But yeah, this is me. So I'm flipping. Whoop. So you can see the uneasy trail that I'm walking. Yeah, you really got to pay attention to where you're putting your feet. I can imagine for the bears, the deer, and the bobcats, and anything with four legs. It's got to be a little, well, it takes some practice to walk around and not trip. I mean, I only got 2 feet, and damn, I'm in trouble. But yeah, this is why if you watch how animals walk, their back foot goes into the place where their front foot was, so they know it's a safe place to step. You guys see all these little guppies in here? And there's a lizard sitting right here. He doesn't seem bothered by the camera. But yeah, I've got to try and get across this without falling in. So you guys may get a show if you wow, look at how the water is building up on this side and it's flowing over these sticks and things. It's making a little whirlpool here. Oh, look at that spider right there. See the little brown guy there? That's a spider. And I hear something in here. I see a little hole there. Mole cricket, maybe? But yeah, that's a spider. Check that dude out, that little brown guy there. He's waiting for something to come strolling through there, an insect or a little fish or something. In fact, there's another little spider over there. Oh man, cool. When you just sit and look at the micro world, and I can only imagine how fascinating the I don't really trust myself to do this. How fascinating the ooh, quantum world would be. I mean, when you get down to those animals that are so small, you need a microscope to see them. How cool would that be? Here's that water that's always on my right. Well, it's always on this side of the park. This park is a big loop. And when I take the left trail like I always do, so more little guppies stirring up the surface of the water and a footbridge, which I think is actually really cool. Man, I give it another 10 more years tops if I have to replace that. But I have no idea what I was saying. But okay. This is the trail that I'm walking, and I'm on my way back to the car. And my phone may overheat again because, well, welcome to Florida. Here's that I showed you guys last week this armadillo hole. I don't believe there's anybody home, but it looks pretty fresh. And they are nocturnal, so maybe there is somebody in there. I don't know. I'm not going to disturb him any more than I already have just by walking by. It's water inside there. I don't know if you can see it. A lot of standing water because of these afternoon showers we've been having. Some of them have been pretty strong. Lizards running all over the place. I'm trying not to step on them and not to get tripped up by these roots. Like, yeah, these roots here. I mean, there's roots, And this trail is just loaded with them. There's a long one here. In fact, we've got Route Central coming up. Well, these roots. Go ahead and say it with me. Damn. Yeah, it's a lot of roots. Yeah, when my camera shut off, I stopped and grabbed a couple of swigs of Gatorade. Because even though it's, round trip is 4 miles, that's not much. But in this heat and humidity, yeah, you definitely need to stay hydrated. I'd say probably a year and a half ago. I don't even know how long it's been, honestly. Time with D talked me into getting these boots, hiking boots. And I thought, nah, I don't need them. I'll just use my other shoes until they fall apart. Which is exactly what I did. And they just kind of fell apart around my feet. So I got these. I saw some that looked really cool and I thought they were awesome. But I didn't get them because I knew I was going to be walking in the muck. And yeah, I think I made a good choice on these. Tie them up tight and they're completely waterproof, which is a good thing and a bad thing. If you get in the water that's deeper than the top of your boot, the water will get into your boot, but because it's waterproof, it ain't coming out till you take it out. And then, if it's just water, that's one thing. But this swamp water, it makes it smell, not so great, especially after a while. Don't ask me how I know. See, now look at this. See all these little white guys on the ground? These are pieces of pine cone. And there's the pine cone stripped bare. Looks like a corn on the cob. See, these, and here's more of them. More of these pine cones that have been stripped bare. And these are all the pieces from the pine cones. And look at this pine tree. Leads me to believe the squirrels have been feasting. I don't know anybody else that would climb up there and grab them things and chew them down like that. I don't believe the birds could do it. Oh, I don't think the raccoons have any interest in that. I don't know what else it would be. It has to be squirrels. If there's anybody out there that really, really knows, let me know. Moving this palm frond off the trail. Yeah, I hear that frog out here again. I heard him when I was walking by before. Yeah, that's a good sized tree frog too. And I like to watch the water because when you see rings in it, those are little tiny rings, but when you see big rings, you know something's going on. It's either gators, wading birds, or otters. or a snake. I mean, it could be a snake swimming. I saw that a few weeks ago. It's pretty cool. I think it was just a water snake, not a moccasin. I didn't stop and ask him. Didn't pull him over and check his ID because, quite frankly, I didn't care. I just was jazzed about seeing a snake, you know. And look at the water line on that tree right there. Pretty cool. Oh, there's something happening over there. See those twigs sticking up? Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can see snakes sunning on them. Whoa, I think I hear somebody coming up behind me as well. Yep, I do. All right. Yeah, here's this part of the Soupy Trail. Hmm. Saw something down there. I don't know what it was. About another quarter mile to go. You guys okay? I didn't hear anybody hit the ground.
It's a little slide.
A little slide. Keep your weight though, right? Yeah. Another quarter mile to go, and you got it. Crank up that AC and bask. Here's one of those land bridges I was talking about. Now I've had my camera set up in there a couple of times, and I've got all kinds of interesting things. And look at how good the water's running. I don't know if you can see the movement. I gotta pause you for a second. Yeah, I got somebody watching. Who is it? Let me know. Cool. Oh, there's somebody else. I don't see anything else out here. Yeah, when they say water is life, they ain't kidding. Well, just hang on for a second. No, it's not gonna let me pause. Not that I can tell. I've gotta go and do something here. Yeah. Damn bugs. And my keys jingling. Not sure if you guys can see this trail in the leaves in the water. I wonder what did that. Interesting. Sorry, guys. Kind of doing something here. Okay. Yeah, I got you pointed at the sky for a reason. Sorry. Back to the trail. Here we are. We haven't really got too much more to go. A few more minutes, really. You know, this is probably the first outing that I've had at the Black Bear where I didn't give out any cards. I talked to a couple of people, but I didn't stop and talk to them, you know? Mostly, when they're this close to the end, they don't want to stop. And when they've just started, I can't ask them if they've seen anything interesting because, well, they just started. It's a little soupy over here. I just went through a little mucky part there. Some stuff in the water here. Ah. Sorry, guys. I was finishing up my Gatorade. Yes, I was. So, there's a lot of aquatic life there in the water. You know, all these little plants. At first, I thought it was just debris, but I think it's actually little floating plants. While aquaculture is not my thing, I still find it pretty interesting. I'm going to show this to you guys. Maybe you guys will spot something that I miss. Look at this root. Oh my gosh. This root sticks up about 8 inches off the trail. And all of this water here, it's usually not this wet, this far up, this close to the trailhead. How close are we? Well, there it is. You asked, so I told you. And I have a subscriber. Welcome. Well, not a subscriber, but somebody watching at least. I've come to the end of my hike at the Black Bear Wilderness Area. Although I'm gonna knock this mud off my shoes. I've got another 10th of a mile to go to get to the end. Oh, well, whoever it was, I lost them. These little tiny mushrooms. That biggest one right there is about the size of a pencil eraser. There's those palm fronds. And you know, if you come out here during the week and you're really quiet, you'll see deer walking along this boardwalk. Not on the boardwalk, but you know, off in the thicket there. Here's some people behind me. Yep, I've got a watcher. Yay! There's some guys coming up. Hey guys. Ooh, look at this skink. Check him out.
Oh, yeah, nice.
That's a female blue-tailed skink. Following him, but I can't really see him in the camera. We're in hot pursuit of this female blue-tailed skink. Yes, we are. It's pretty big. I'd say probably 7 inches from snout to tip of tail. And I know it's a female because it's a little bit large. And it's a female blue tail, but I know it's a female because it doesn't have a blue tail. And there she is in all her glory. Yes, she is. Check her out. She's beauty. Nice. Look at how long that tail is, man. That is very cool. Hey guys, I'm sorry. There's a blue tail skink here on the handrail.
Oh.
It's a female blue tail. That's why she doesn't have the blue tail.
I would've
Very
walked
cool,
right
though.
past her. That's cool.
Very
Look at
cool.
that.
Yeah, well, I've been chasing her for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Did you guys see anything interesting today?
We saw a big alligator just chilling. It's probably still over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like not too far off. He's just like,
And
or she, I don't know, just chilling.
Yeah, you could see pretty much the whole body
whole
too.
thing.
Probably
Cool.
7 or
Yeah.
8 feet.
Well, listen, if you want to really see what's out here, check out my channel.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually live streaming right now,
Oh, fun.
but I come out when I can. I used to do it every week. Now it's every 10 days or 5 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have trail cameras out here by permit. When you first
Oh.
came in, did you see where it said
Yeah.
cameras in use? Those are mine.
Oh,
Really?
fun.
Yep. I'm a regular guy. I'm Steve.
Sure, Dominic.
Dominic.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney.
Yes,
Okay.
Sydney.
Make sure I say that correctly.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. And yeah, I didn't get you on camera, so
You're fine.
you be okay with that? All right. Well, Dominic
Howdy.
and Sydney. Yay! At the Black Bear Wilderness area. Well, I don't have anybody watching, so sorry.
You're
But
covered.
yeah, scan that QR code on the back
Yes.
and it'll take you to my latest video.
Perfect.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
Thank
You're very welcome. You guys take care.
you.
Yep, and there go Dominic and Sydney. Yep, they're on their way to their car, to their beloved AC. Yep, and look at this. I'm not sure what that is. First, I thought I wanted to say it was an ant, but I don't believe it is. Anybody knows? Let me know. All right, I got somebody watching. Yay! Welcome to the Black Bear Wilderness area. Oh well. Black Bear Wilderness area. Here's I'm not sure if that's a cypress or a cedar tree. There's a palm tree, some type. Again, not a tree expert. And you know, when I first started coming here years ago, there was a stream down here that flowed. It actually flowed. Now, not so much. It just kind of stands. I guess wherever it was flowing to got kind of stopped up. And here's the stream. Well, used to be a stream. Now it's just a stop for the water before it sinks into the ground. But when it's not when there's no water in it, a lot of times in the mud you can see bear tracks and coyote tracks and things like that. So although they could just be dog tracks, I don't know. Man, I can imagine when they were first putting up this this boardwalk, this tree was cut. And there's a tree, and you can see on the right-hand side, and it wraps around the other side and comes to the left. There's a vine on the way up to the top of the tree. There's another one. Another tree with vines on it. And you see those trees in the background, those big ones? Now, if I'm not mistaken, black bears sleep in the trees sometimes. And those are the types of trees that, well, they would like to be in. And they don't just go up 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet. They would go like up there to sleep because, well, it's safer. And if another bear wants to get them, they'll hear this other bear climbing up the tree. But yeah, there's trees in this place that, man, if they could talk, they would just chew your ear off. Look at the size of this vine. This vine's got to be 3-4 inches around. And we're at the trailhead. I'm gonna try and stomp some of this mud off my shoes. And when I say some, I mean, yeah, there is some. I'll be wearing these into Walmart. Dominic and Sydney were on the trail. Very cool. It's always good to talk to people and get their perspective on things. And here's all the things you can do: hiking, fishing, photography, camping by permit, and picnicking. All the things you can't do: hunting, dumping, littering, ATV, alcohol, illicit behavior, destructions of facilities or habitat, construction or erection of any structure, feeding, releasing, or harassing the animals. No, it doesn't say anything about catching animals. Parking overnight or outside designated areas, removal of natural or cultural resources, or fires outside of designated campsites. And here we are at the very, very, very beginning. This parking lot. There's a regular guy mobile. And here's the Black Bear Wilderness Area Trail. Here's where we went in. We went in this way. We took the left trail. And we went to about a little bit past the star. However, if you wanted to, you could go all the way around. The green, if you see the green line, that's the trail itself. The yellow line is the bindery, and a lot of a bindery. The yellow line is the boundary of the Black Bear Wilderness Area. Well, you guys, hope you enjoyed it. And now I've got 2 watchers. Very cool. Right at the very end, I'm heading to the regular guy mobile. That one right there. And if I can get my keys out, I can auto start it, so it'll be nice and cool. There goes Dominic and Sydney. Yep. Thanks for watching, you guys. The regular guy live at the Black Bear Wilderness Area. I will talk to you guys later.